Gary, might as well just get it out of the way first of all. Looking back on Tuesday, obviously the amount of media coverage it's had since. How are you guys faring at the moment? What's the squad feeling like?
Well, we're disappointed. We're not still in the competition, of course. I thought it was our best performance of the season so far. We got to where we wanted to be, that what I call game mode. Competitors, people that are competing for every tackle, every header, making sure you win every race, and I thought we did that really well. We had a review this morning where we showed them the good parts of our play, and it was the best it's been for a little while, and that's conducive to scoring 3 goals. Of course, one of them is a contentious goal from some people's point of view, and maybe your next question's that, or maybe that was what you was trying to get at with your first question. But I was so proud of the boys that I didn't want them to lose it in normal time on what we felt was a misdemeanour. So if I'd have given them a goal straight after, we'd have been out and we wouldn't have had any chance to try to get back in it. And I didn't think we were wrong in doing what we did at that moment in time. The crowd were fantastic. They were buzzing because I think they'd seen their boys giving everything, and I'd seen it, and I see the crowd giving everything. So, listen, I had to take it into extra time and decide what I did after that.
As Lee has obviously he talked about making a formal complaint. Are you a bit disappointed with that, because you said you'd spoke to him during the game?
Listen, we everybody upset at the end of the game sometimes for different reasons, and we all say things on the spur of the moment. So, whether he said anything after that or whether he makes a complaint, I don't know what he's going to complain about, because I don't know what our crime was. But anyway, we'll wait and see. He was one of the people on the line that was keeping his anger under wraps, and he was a calming influence, I think, maybe, or not an influence, because everyone else was angry, so he didn't influence anybody, but he was calm. He was calm himself. He was an influence to himself. And, I had time to reflect on it. I certainly didn't give them the goal because I thought that we were wrong in what we did, that's for sure. And I knew that I was going to explain that after the game. But I felt that if we was going to win, it was only when we went 3-2 up that I felt that I didn't want to embarrass the club or put the club in an uncompromising position of some people thinking that we'd won the game on a controversial goal. I didn't want to do that. So the only thing to do was to, as soon as I could, give them a goal. Which made it level again. I haven't done it to put them in the lead, and then both teams had the chance to go and win it. I certainly didn't tell the boys to miss the penalties. They missed that themselves, and and we lost the game. But at the end of the day, everything I did, the decision's on me. There's 5,000 people in the crowd. There's 20 people that are important to me in the director's box. The crowd are important to me, the way the things were going, they were enjoying it, and my players are important to me, and they have to take my decision because I was doing it for the best, and they played like they took the decision that I made well, because we really did have a good extra time, and really, if we don't give the goal to Birmingham, we win the game. So I knew that as well. So that decision's also cost the club money, because we could have been in the next round quite comfortably, because we were looking strong at that time. But as I say, I didn't want to win the game on a controversial goal. For us, it wasn't controversial, but I felt for the football world it might have been if they didn't know the full story.
Like you touched on before, it's taken the gloss off slightly of what was probably one of the most poorest performances of the season.
Well, I don't know. I'm listening to supporters, and I was listening to when we did give the goal. They was giving as much support. If they'd have all walked out of the stadium, I'd have thought, I've made a boob here. But they didn't, and they know I do everything with the club in mind, and that's what I did, and I really appreciated them doing what they did and kept supporting us. a couple of board members came down and said, we done the right thing. I went to the board after, spoke to Mr. Fry and Mr. Hayward, and they said they felt we did the right thing. So I went home feeling a little bit better that most people understood.
Away from that, though, a couple of cracking goals.
Yeah, unbelievable goals, because Luke Ayling, it took us 108 years to get in the league. It took him 108 years to score his goals. You know what I mean? And,
how was he this morning, or the morning after?
Lively. It was lively, but we got into that point, I think, because he just missed a sitter as far as the header's concerned, and I'd had a bit of go at him, and I said to him he was in my hate team when he missed the header, but in my love you to death team 10 minutes after, because what a goal it was. It was a real good strike, and he really meant it and deserved to win a football match, but unfortunately circumstances took over. Webby's goal was a great goal, you know what I mean? If we're playing on, Webby's got to be a professional, and his manager says play on, he's got to do what he's got to do, and that was a sublime finish as well. And then Ed Upson, of course, who's been working on his set plays, that was a great free kick. Now they've all counted, but we've lost the game. But we scored 3 goals, albeit more than 90 minutes, but we scored 3 goals, and we looked like scoring goals on the day, and that was what I was really, really pleased with. So I apologise to people that wanted to get through to the next round of the Cup, but we did lose it on penalties in the end, and maybe we've exonerated my decision. I don't know, we'll have to wait and see what the football world thinks about it, what the referees think about it, but we've highlighted it anyway, because it has become a tactic for teams, as opposed to something that they're doing out of the goodness of their heart because someone's injured. And
looking forward to Saturday now, Reading. Well, at the start of the season everyone was talking about them as contenders, haven't had the best start. Were you quite surprised by the Peterborough result?
Well, I was surprised by the result, because teams like Reading have got a squad of players that are top class players. They were ex-Premiership only a few months ago. Of course, Nigel Adkins would have. That was a different team. You can bet your life to the team that's going to come to us. And he respected his players that he played against Peterborough, and respected Peterborough enough that he didn't say, well, I didn't hear him say that was my second team. And those were the lads that haven't proved yet that we want them at the club, or we want them competing in the championship. So I'm sure there'll be 2 or 3 of them, but there'll be 7 or 8 different players, if not more, playing against us.
What do you make of Reading so far this season? How much have you managed to see of them?
Yeah, we've seen quite a lot of them. We know they're a good football team. They can be direct if they want to. They've got 2 big lads up front, and they're quick as well, quick and strong, and they get the ball to them early. We're finding that in this league. The teams are going from back to front pretty quickly, and with quality, of course. That's the level we're at, and we have to deal with that, and then we have to try and hit them as well. And it's like when Chelsea play Man United, both teams are going to attack, both teams are going to be under pressure sometimes, both teams have got quality players, and sometimes we mustn't panic if an opposition has a bit of play, because they're good teams at this level, as long as we have a bit of play, and we are part of what is a very good 2-teamed football match.
It should be quite an attacking game, shouldn't it?
Yeah, it should be, and I'm sure it will be, because, as I say, the 2 lads up front are very sharp, and they'll be putting us under pressure, but we've got to make sure that we put them under pressure as well. It will be a cracking game, because if you want an event and you want a game with a bit going on, come to Ewis Park at the moment. You know what I mean? And this is the place to be.
It's a nice advert.
Yeah, well, it's not just an advert. It's happened. You know what I mean? And what we're not going to let happen is we're not going to let little old Yeovil influence teams that think they can get away with things. You know what I mean? And if we feel it's not quite right, then we won't be little old Yeovil, as you've seen over the last 2 or 3 days.
And squad-wise, any injuries? Anybody coming back this weekend?
We trained today, and unfortunately Paddy took a bit of a knock today, which was a nightmare for him because of the international coming up as well. So we're just going to assess that, and he's just opened up his knee a little bit in a tackling training. So that's still sort of the latest one. But Liam Davis, he had to come off. There's a couple that had to come off, and we're just still assessing all that, including Paddy, at the moment. So if they're fit, then obviously they'll be involved. If not, then obviously we'll have to wait and see how long it is.
Yeah, and with regards to Wayne, how impressed were you by his performance on Tuesday night?
Wayne Hennessy, yeah, I thought he had a fantastic performance. He was strong. He was made some good saves when he had to. Again, like Man United's goalie or Chelsea's goalie, they got to make saves. You know what I mean? Don't mean to say they're being slaughtered if their goalie's got to make a save. And he's had to do his job, and he did. He did. I didn't put him down for any of the goals as his fault. In fact, he nearly saved that last penalty, and some would say the rules say that wasn't a goal, that last one. So Mr. McDermott, is it, of
Gallagher,
Dermot
Gallagher.
So even that was, right up to the very last kick of the game was still incident. You know what I mean? Unbelievable against Birmingham. But so I was really pleased with him. He did very well, and we've got two very good goalkeepers now and a very good goalkeeper coach.
With Paddy missing though, striking options wise, the strikers haven't been firing yet this season. That's quite well publicised. How big of an issue is that?
Well, 3 goals against Birmingham, who were Premiership side not so long ago. So, we mustn't get too worried about it. But at the same time, it did give me the opportunity to play different strikers, different pairings, because, of course, if a pairing's scoring 2 or 3 every week and looking like they're going to score every week, you don't change it. But these lads, at the moment, nobody's really putting their name down for first choice or second choice. So at the moment, we're giving everybody a little bit of a go. And I thought Kiefer Moore did very well for his Championship debut, coming from Truro and Dorchester. Do you know what I mean? What a rise that is in standard. And the kid was brave. He got beat up every time he went to get it, but he gave as good as he got. And when you look at the review, he created a few opportunities for us, got the foul for the free kick that led to the goal, and generally got his head into other people's heads, and we was able to pick it up. So we were pretty pleased with his debut, but he's another one that's got a little bit of a knock. It's not broken, by the way. We thought it might be a broken rib, so we're pleased that it's just bruised ribs, and he deserves to be around, so I hope he's fit.
And last question, I promise you.
No problem.
Transfer window coming to a close.
Yeah.
Players coming in. Have you started looking at any players to bring into the club? Is there anyone who potentially might be on their way out?
We're looking all the time, and there's always potential of somebody going out, because we're still working out whether they're with us, whether people have got the same mentality as us, whether they're looking for something different. We're always looking at the people within, and then we're looking at if anybody has to move out, then we're looking at the people that are coming in. What I can tell you right this moment is that certainly nobody's going to be going out on any sort of transfer or any, nothing's come in. It might come in a half hour's time, but as we speak, nobody need worry that there's a big offer on the table for anybody. Paddy springs to mind, sort of thing. But he's going to be our player, and we want him back to his best. And when he's back to his best, he's a fantastic striker, and we want him. So let me nip that in the bud, because people are a bit worried that things are happening. Yeah, me and Paddy fall out sometimes, and I fall out with a lot of people sometimes. But we always get back together because it's everybody genuinely wants to do well for this football club and for each other.
Do players have to go out before you can bring any more in?
Well, that's how the directors like it to work, but it doesn't always work like that, and they understand that. And I've got a meeting this afternoon with them in half hour's time, and where I'll just let them know my thoughts. They'll let me know their thoughts. But I've had some nice texts from the board of directors, the chairman, and that, and they've definitely motivated the motivator this week, and I appreciate that.
And any offers you guys have put out there at the moment which are being considered?
No offers as in financial. Of course, we've made offers as this is a lovely club, come and join us. Do you know what I mean? So of course we've done that. But you know, when you're in the Championship, you've got to be very, very prudent and shrewd with your dealings, and you know, we're not going to be able to get or compete with Gareth Bale, Wayne Rooney or Suarez. Do you know what I mean? So we have to look and be a bit cleverer than that. You know what I mean? But
so you're not the mystery second club in for Gareth Bale then?
well, that's why I've got to see him in half hour's time, and I'll let you know.
Just Gareth.
All right.
With Paddy, I presume that the knee knock came towards the end of the training because he was still out there when I walked past. But how has he responded to Tuesday night?
To what?
How has he responded to being out of the squad on Tuesday night? Has he trained well? Did he train well before?
Listen, we left a few out of the squad on Tuesday night. Everybody's getting their opportunity at the moment. You know, Michael Ngu had an opportunity. Hoskins, Granty got his opportunity, and you know, some of them are taking that opportunity, and some not quite. So I've got to know early who it is you're going to go into battle with. And so that means that, you know, I have to leave some out sometimes for whatever reason. You know, it's all, you're dealing with 22, 25 actually different personalities, and some people are having a good week, some people are having a bad week. You know, some people are got their hormones high and some are low, and you have to deal with all that. Do you know what I mean? And that's what we do. But listen, you know, I've got a group that I love to death, and all we're trying to do is become competitive, and those people, all of them, they've got to become competitive, and they've got to show me they're being competitive. You know what I mean? And when they do, and when I start picking the team because I've seen everybody, then they'll know who my best 11 are and who's got to work hard to get into that, and trying to create competition, because that's what you need as well. Is you've seen how strong the teams are in their physical prowess and their pace and power. And you know, when teams like Birmingham and Derby break on you, yeah, they're not giving you a chance to get back. You've got to be ready for that. And when you're knocking it into the box, you've got to go and be brave, and you've got to make cleverer runs. You've got to make brave decisions, whether you're stopping somebody coming out or winning a header or getting there first. And you know, that's what we're doing. But trust me, you know, as I said to you yesterday, we're in the Championship, and we're coming up against some excellent players that, barring the foreign invasion that have come here, most of them will be in the Premiership.
Press officer's got a question for you. It kind of got unnoticed that we had a really good performance on Tuesday night, and a certain Mr. James McAllister was back in the side. Do you think there's any significance in that?
Well, it could be. You know, I mean, it's good to have your captain in the team. You know, at the moment he hasn't been involved in any games because he's been injured right through pre-season. He's been training on his own, trying to get ready. Could have brought him back a little bit early because he normally needs a few more games. So we kept Webby as captain on the day because he you know, wore the armband very well and loyally. So and Macca, we felt, had to concentrate on his game. So that just meant that. But you know, he's the club captain, he's the team captain when he plays, and you know, Webby was this week, and you know, Macca's got to keep himself in the team, and he didn't do himself any harm, as you say, because he's a winner and he wants to win, and it's good to have him back and around. But you know, there was a lot of other things as well that went on. But you know, that's what happens. You get that opportunity to bring somebody back in, and he took his opportunity because the team as well did very well. And yep, you're putting round pegs in round holes, aren't you?
No, I was just thinking in Wrexham last season when we had a spell of losing games and Macca was injured and he wasn't in it, and then he came back and things turned, and it just seemed a coincidence. Again, he's back, we played well.
It's that experience, that knowledge, you know. But then we've got experience in Danny Seaborn, we've got experience in Tatey. You know, Liam Davis can also play at left back. So listen, you know, you got to be careful as to telling people that they only need to be in the team for us to win. No, they've got to produce something. And he will. But we have got to create that competition. And but I'm also very pleased, like you maybe and some others, that he's back in the team because he knows what we're all about, and we know what he's all about.
I just had one more, because And you just touched on players coming back. Andy Williams was back for a week now. Is he going to be around for Saturday?
Yeah, he was out because he was cup tie. Now whether we'd have started him or not is still another thing. But at the moment, he's now available for selection. And I've also got to look at it a little bit that the boys, some of them played 120 minutes. Some of them can handle that, and some might not be able to. So we might need to freshen it up anyway. So people like Andy Williams, and obviously not now, maybe not now, but maybe Paddy Madden would have had them fresh legs that we could have turned to. And Dawson, of course, didn't play that long. So we've got those situations that a manager has to sort of deal with, and the more available to you, the better.
With the goal, sorry to go back to the goal, was it purely to give Jamie an extra half an hour?
Yeah, I think you'd have asked Jamie, no, but it's a good point. And the extra half hour to help you out with that silly question. What the extra half hour?
That was good for him, man.
Exactly, and the extra half hour was good for a lot of us because we did get into game mode during that half hour. The crowd looked like they were buzzing. The players looked like they were buzzing. The only person in this ground that wasn't buzzing was me, and that was because I had decisions to make and things were going through my head. I was enjoying it, but I wasn't buzzing. So all of a sudden, your assistants come to the fore, and that's when you need them, Terry and Darren. And all of a sudden, there was no let up from them while I thought about what we needed to do, and it was because what I didn't want to do as well is incite a problem at the end of the game for our supporters, for their supporters.
Was that very much in the back of your mind?
Of course it is. The tunnel would have been full of people wanting to beat hell out of each other.
Had you been given any sort of...
No, nobody. I wouldn't listen to anybody anyway.
Right.
So nobody influenced me. The Birmingham players, the Birmingham officials, none of that influenced me. I just tried to do right by the situation. And I didn't want to be the one that incited a problem at Hughes Park, because this is a nice place to be, and we want people to come and enjoy their football.
Yeah, because up until then, the atmosphere was sort of like, then all of a sudden, whoosh.
Yeah, exactly, because we'd made that decision. There it is. We've done it. We give it.
They wanted to go loopy.
Yeah, well there you go, and that's what happens because they're in competitive mode, aren't they? The supporters are, and we just had to let the football come back a little bit. But I knew there'd be a lot of questions to answer, and why didn't you do it at the time? Why, well, because at the time I didn't feel it was wrong to do that, and I did give them enough warning. I shouted out well early, keep it, and they knew that. And obviously, in their mind, the ball was going to go back to their goalie. He was going to take another 20 seconds before he kicked it because all their lads were in our area. He then would have kicked it, the game would have been over, finished. Do you know what I mean? And that was in their mind. Well, in our mind, no, hold on a minute. You kicked it out for a player that didn't have any treatment. Didn't go off the pitch because if he goes off the pitch, he can't come back on. And we felt that the laws of the game meant that we didn't have to give that back. If they kick it out for us or we kick it out for them, whatever time of the game, you have to sportsmanly give it back. Of course you do. But when teams have now started kicking out for their own game, if you like, we don't know whether that was absolutely true there, but when the player gets up, he's not injured, no one's hurt, nobody's died, actually we're not going to give
He
it
didn't
back.
look very injured when he was running around.
Not when he was running around trying to fight everybody,
Birmingham City have written to the FA to clarify the rules on that particular incident. What do you expect them to come back with?
Well, I expect them to come back with there's no written rule, is there? The written rule is the sportsmanship side is if you kick it out with the opposition, they give it to you back, quite rightly. If the referee sees that it's a head injury and he has to judge that, then of course he stops the game, and quite rightly, and you have to throw the ball back, quite rightly. And he should really be able to say to you, look, it's a head injury, throw it back. But if it's a head injury, he can stop the game anyway. Do you know what I mean? Now, so anyway, it was our throwing, and there was nothing said to us except, play on. You have to play on. And then it's discretion whether you give the ball back. Had it been the first minute of the game at 0-0, we'd have given the ball back. But last minute, 2-1 down. Teams are very good at this level with their gamesmanship. All of the teams have gamesmanship. And that tactic, I think, has just come in, that's just started to annoy us, because it's happened to us 2 or 3 times.
So,
but also, Birmingham had the same situation at Watford, by the way, didn't they? Where, they had a game and Watford went all mad because, one of the Birmingham players picked the ball up, threw it quickly, and the lad didn't score. It was only a fantastic tackle right late on that stopped him scoring. Now, so there's a little bit of, be careful because Mr. Birmingham, because you've done it as well, sort of thing, and but I don't know what the FA can say other than that, here's the rules. But I've been saying that managers should be discussing that anyway, because if it's going to be sports, it mustn't be used as a tactic. Do you know what I mean? If it starts being used as a tactic, then people are going to be kicking it out, and it gets away with it, and then you're just kicking it out. Last 5 minutes, your player goes down, you kick it out of play, and all of a sudden, how many times are you going to do that? 10 times in the last 10 minutes? I don't know. And then,
is it important for referees to kind of be seen to take charge of the issue then, do you think?
Well, I thought I gave him top marks, the referee. I gave the linesman top marks. I thought they had a fantastic game, and but there's nothing they can do about it. They don't have that sort of power in those situations of sportsmanship, and all he can decide is whether it was a head injury or not. No, it wasn't a head injury. No, he's not hurt. Trainer doesn't come on. Play on. We then take the throw and do our job. Do you know what I mean? Shouldn't be down to anybody really. At the end of the day, that is a play-on situation. And it was only because Birmingham wanted the ball back that they all decided to clear away from all the danger areas and get all their players up here and not defend. In fact, the nearest one to Webby was the bloke who was down injured, Danny Burn. And he was actually able to get up and try and make the tackle. In which case, obviously, we then score, and then he runs around like as if full of life and virility, and
But isn't it the old adage when I used to play football, which was a long time ago, but it was a great play to the whistle.
Yeah, but listen, let's say, I'm not even saying Danny Byrne has meant to do that necessarily, or the keeper's kicked it out rim, but don't expect for us when he gets up to throw it back to you, that's all. We don't want to accuse anybody of anything, but because it's become a thing and people get upset when you don't throw it back that should be taken away from it and go, look, in that situation, of course you don't have to give it back. He's gone down, he's got up, we don't want to moan about him, we don't think he's cheating necessarily. Keeper's kicked it out, he don't know whether his man's definitely injured, does he? So he kicks it out, quite rightly.
Do you have to tell the referee
to give it you back?
Do you have to tell the referee?
No, you don't. You don't have to tell him nothing. No.
No, because
it's just a play-on situation. Yeah. But over the last few months, maybe a year or so, that it's just started coming in a game where they're kicking it out with their own player. First 10 minutes, as I said, no problem. 4-0 up, no problem. 4-0 down, no problem. But when you're coming towards the end of the game, last minute, it's a problem. You don't have to fight that.
It's no different than like taking the quick free kicks. Is that which?
No.
Where the teams are just standing around waiting.
Exactly. But then you have to tell the referee.
Yeah.
But in this case, you don't have to. And I went and explained it to the ref after, and he understood our decision and said, thanks for maybe calming the situation down by giving them the goal. Do you know what I mean? So he was happy that actually happened, and we did it in the end. But I certainly didn't do it because I felt guilty about the goal. That wasn't the case. And I've had so many people get upset with me for giving them the goal back as well. People in football, and I made a decision that I was going to do that, and I've still made my point, and still give our boys a chance to win the game. And
when you say people in football, is that everywhere?
Yeah, no, people in football like other managers, and people that are saying, well, look, at the end of the day, that was within the rules. You didn't need to give them a goal back, but they wasn't here. I felt the situation of the night, of the day, I needed to go make that decision. I made it. done. Hopefully that'll be the end of it.
Unless
Unless you've got another
talking
5
point.
It's a fantastic talking point, but it shouldn't be us, it should be the official parties that sit round the table and talk about it. It's easy. You kick it out with the opposition, if he's down injured, you give it back.
Yeah.
No problem. If teams are kicking it out for their own players, don't give it back. You haven't got to give it back. Now, I'll take the bull by the horns and say, so that I'm not trying to gain an advantage with this, when I go in to give the teams, I'm going to say to the referee and to the opposition manager and the 2 captains, listen, if we kick it out for us, ourselves, I'm not expecting you to give it back to us, but we ain't going to give it back to you either. You kick it out for us, we give it back, and vice versa. But I'm just telling you that at the start of the game, before there's anything, we're not going to give it back if you kick it out for yourself, and we don't want it back if we kick it out for ourselves. That'd be easy then, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Right? There, we've just done it. Well done, you lot.
Yeah.
Sorted.
And the managers that have sort of been in touch or whatever, Paul Lambert,
Why? No, but why?
saying that you should have given them the goal back.
Why?
With
Did
them
it
being
happen to him then?
No, but then being Villa,
I don't get them.
Villa Birmingham.
Birmingham.
Oh, I see. Sorry. Yeah. No,
No.
they wouldn't be doing that. That would be untoward. No, he definitely wouldn't do that. No, it's not that situation. As I say, it's just people that know me, and a lot of people are not sure what they would have done in that same situation. That's for sure. It's happened to me 3 times. Right, let's get it on the record. And my missus said, why you all the time? Why can't you just be normal and it not happen to you? And I said, because I've had over 800 league games now as a manager. That's a lot of league games in this day and age with people getting the sack after 6 months. So the law of averages says it's going to happen to me more.
Like a hole in one.
But the first one was a mistake. The one league against Plymouth was a mistake. No problem with that decision. Straight away we go, it's yours then. Right, we'll give you the goal because we made a mistake. That was down to us. Second one was Crystal Palace at Bristol City when the lad Freddie Sears, scored a goal. We all thought it was a goal. I'm having a go at the defenders are having a go at each other. The referee blows his whistle, no goal. Neil Warnock's in me ear. That that was a goal. Yeah, I know that was a goal, but the ref ain't give it. Fourth official, why ain't he give it? He's not give it, and Palace still hate me for this. The crowd, the directors, the management that were there. Fourth official said infringement. Okay, so who am I to judge anything else? I knew it was a goal. Everyone knew it was a goal. What's that thing they do on Soccer AM? We all know it was a goal. You know what I mean? But anyway, you'll get that on Soccer AM now. So for you, Ellen, we all knew it was a goal. And but infringement is what we hear. So I can't give them the goal back. But Neil let me know for the next half hour that we should have given the goal. People said it's because I didn't like Neil Warnock. Not true. That was a different situation. All right. So there's the 3 situations that I've found myself in.
Just play Neil this tape.
Pardon?
Play Neil this tape.
So listen, Neil, there's no way that Neil don't have an opinion on what happened this week, and I'm sure he'll bring that up. Who'll have a tenner with me? Do you want a tenner on? Put the tenners on the table. Honestly, but anyway, listen, he's been great, and he's now a pundit, and he's got every right to talk about it. Let's see what he says.
So when's the next one?
Not too soon, anyway.